If you're in your mid-30s and you want to take your style to the next level, at some point you might have wondered, can I wear jewelry without looking like a dork or a tryhard? Can I pull it off and still feel like myself? Short answer, yes. Long answer, let me show you. Hey, I'm Baron. I started this channel, Effortless Gent, way back in the day to help guys who want to dress better but aren't necessarily into fashion. Back then, I didn't wear much jewelry, maybe a watch and a wedding ring, but that's it. Over the last 7 to 8 years, I started experimenting, slowly, one piece at a time. Now it's a part of my style, and I want to show you how you can do the same without it feeling like a costume, if you know what I mean. So here's how I would recommend easing into it, one step at a time. And let's break this up into different levels. Level 1, you're going to start off right where you probably already are. Most likely you probably wear a watch, and even if you don't wear a watch regularly, it's not something that's too out of the box, too crazy, you can do it. And if you're married, you're probably wearing a wedding band. Boom, congratulations, you're already wearing jewelry. Nice. Okay, so that's level 1. If you do not regularly wear a watch, maybe that's a good place to start. You can buy a really simple watch and wear that around, make that part of your outfit, part of your wardrobe, and just get used to that feeling of having a piece of jewelry on your wrist. Level 2, add a simple chain necklace. So if you've never bought a necklace or a chain before, they come in many different lengths and many different widths, and also made from several different kinds of metal. So what I'm going to suggest is looking for, as far as width, a 1mm to 3mm width chain. And then for chain length, I would suggest anything between a 20 and a 24-inch length. In my experience, when I'm helping guys, helping clients, this is typically a good middle ground to wear based on your neck size, how tall you are, etc. You may have to try different lengths, 20, 22, 24, just to see where it hits on your neck and how it feels on you. My suggestion is if you have a gold wedding ring, assuming you're married, you're going to probably wear the gold wedding ring every day. So you might want to find a chain that you can also wear every day. Therefore, you'll want a gold chain. If your ring is a white metal, then you are going to probably want a chain that is also white metal. See, me, I thought ahead. I found a two-tone ring that I really like for my wedding band, and I bought that, and now I can wear gold or white metal, and it'll always sort of match and look good together. If you're not married and you only wear a watch, then you might want to think about how your necklace and watch will look together. These aren't hard and fast rules, by the way. These are more of guidelines. You can use them, you can discard them, you can wear pretty much whatever you want, but I'm trying to give you guidelines or guardrails in order to help you figure out exactly what to buy and what to wear. So look at this more as a guide versus a rule that you must follow. Should you have a pendant on your chain? Again, this is totally up to you. I wear necklaces sometimes with just the chain, and sometimes I wear them with a pendant or multiple pendants on one chain. So when it comes to the pendant itself, you want it to be proportional to the size and the width of your chain. You don't want a huge, hubcap size pendant when your necklace is only 2mm in width. So how do you wear your necklace? Should it be over the t-shirt if you're wearing a t-shirt? Should it be under the t-shirt? Again, totally personal preference. I like to typically wear mine under my t-shirt, so you could definitely see it on the back of my neck if I'm wearing a t-shirt, or if I'm wearing a button-up shirt like this, then you can kind of see it peeking out right here. Sometimes if I'm feeling it, I wear a necklace over my t-shirt, then it becomes part of the whole look. It really just depends on how you're feeling and what you want to wear that day. There is no right or wrong answer. I put together a guide to the perfect chain lengths on my jewelry website, cladright.com. Go ahead and check that out. I'm going to leave a link in the description box below. If you are shopping for necklaces online, this is really going to help you determine what size or what length that you should get for your specific chain. So maybe it's been a few weeks, maybe it's been a few months, you're now used to wearing your watch, and if you have a wedding ring, you're probably already used to that, and then you threw on a necklace for level 2. So now we're moving on to level 3, we're adding some bracelets. So if you don't normally wear bracelets and you're about to try it out, you might be thinking, okay, well shoot, I have to now get a bracelet that looks exactly the same as my necklace, so they match, right? Let me stop you right there. I'm actually gonna tell you to do the exact opposite. You don't want to match your necklace chain style to your bracelet necessarily. Again, not a hard and fast rule, more of a guideline, more of a guardrail. This is very similar to if you are wearing a suit, you do not want to match the fabric of your tie and your pocket square. It's too matchy-matchy. And if you are a high schooler on prom night, you don't want to match your vest to your bow tie or your cummerbund to your bow tie, even though they rent it to you like that. It's not a great look. It looks a little corny. It's too matchy-matchy. Same goes for your necklace and your bracelet. You don't necessarily want to match those two. So you can treat your bracelets as totally separate entities from your necklace and any other jewelry you're wearing. I like to go with things that are very opposite and different from the necklaces I'm wearing. Like, for example, today I'm wearing a beaded bracelet that's made from like a wood or a stone. I'm not really sure. I think it's wood. And then I have like a fabric woven bracelet. And those colors like red and blue and gold. Then I have a silver metal cuff. So don't worry about matching your necklace to your bracelet. And also don't worry about stacking multiple bracelets yet. I'm going to get to that in a level later on. I just wanted to show you like your options that you have available to you and that you don't have to match exactly. So how many bracelets should you start with? Just like your chain on level 2. For level 3 and your bracelets, I suggest just starting with 1. You can go with a chain bracelet similar to your chain necklace, but maybe a different chain link, so it's not matchy-matchy. You could try a metal cuff, which you just slip onto your wrist, super easy. Also a really sleek and classic look. You could go for a leather bracelet, a stone bead bracelet, or a wooden bead bracelet. You can go with something woven. You can go with a nylon cord. You have so many different options when it comes to bracelets. And I want you to chill a little bit and like have some fun with it. So how thick should your bracelets be? I suggest keeping it relatively thin at first. This stone bead bracelet right here is probably the thickest I would go if you're just starting out and trying to figure things out. Or even like this metal cuff that I have. That's a pretty good width to start with. Nothing too crazy. So you've mastered level 1. You have your wedding band, you have your watch, you're used to that. You mastered level 2, which is your necklace. Feeling comfortable, easy, like it's a part of you, like it's a part of your style, great. Now you're working on mastering level 3, which is 1 bracelet. And I think that's a really good place to just sort of sit with that feeling for a little bit, right? For a couple weeks, couple months, however long you might need to get used to wearing these things. Because if you start with 0 and you've never worn anything but a wedding band or maybe a watch and maybe inconsistently, you're gonna want to get used to it so it doesn't feel super weird. So it doesn't feel like a costume. So don't be afraid to stop here at level 3 if you wanna just kind of sit with it, get used to it for a little bit. But when you're ready to move on to level 4, and I think this is where it gets a little bit more exciting, a little bit more fun, level 4 is adding a second ring. Okay, so here are a few guidelines for when you are trying to pull off a second ring. Number 1, I like to recommend wearing a second ring on the hand opposite of your wedding ring. So obviously that'd be the right hand for most cultures, I believe. And when you're just starting out, you might want to start with wearing a ring on your middle finger or your ring finger on the opposite hand. I just feel like that's the easiest to pull off. It's the most comfortable for guys who are not used to wearing rings to have something on their middle finger or their ring finger. But like with everything that I've mentioned in this video, and with most things in fashion and style in general, there are no hard and fast rules. So as you can see, I'm wearing a pinky ring, which I typically always go with a pinky ring on my second hand. I also wear an index finger ring, not today, but usually I do. So you can really wear your second ring on any of the fingers that you have. I don't normally wear a thumb ring. I think that's a little weird, but if that's your thing, you can. But again, if you're just starting out, start with the middle finger or the ring finger. That'll be the easiest place to start. Okay, so what kind of ring should my second ring be? Good question. Personally, I'd avoid another plain band because that looks too much like a wedding ring. And you don't want to wear like 2 rings that look like wedding rings. I think it's a little weird. You can definitely wear band rings and they make really interesting styles. I'm gonna post some right here so you can see some of the rings that I'm talking about. I really love signet style rings, and that's what my pinky ring is right here. Signet style rings are usually thicker and wider at the top, and it tapers down at the band. And then they usually has a flat face, and sometimes they're plain, sometimes they're engraved. Sometimes there's a stone. They also come in a lot of different shapes, rectangle, oval, square. So that would be my suggestion for your second ring. And again, if you're not into the signet style rings, you can always choose a band style ring that has a little bit more visual interest. All right, fellas, we are getting to level 5. This is top level right here, okay? This is like level 5 and beyond. And level 5 is stacking. Stacking applies to anything, whether that is necklaces, bracelets, rings, even watches, which, I mean, that's a little too much for me, but I've seen it done and I've seen it done well. I'm gonna break up level 5 stacking into different tiers to kind of help you figure out where is the easiest place to start and where does it get harder and harder. And by harder, I just mean more intentional, more thought through. It's something that you wanted to specifically wear in a really detailed and specific way. Not necessarily that it's hard to pull off, just that it's more intentional. Okay, so the first tier, tier A in this level 5 sort of jewelry wearing journey that we're on here, is Stacking bracelets. Stacking multiple bracelets at one time is pretty easy. It's a good way to sort of get your feet wet when it comes to wearing combinations of jewelry and wearing more jewelry at once. I personally like to go with an odd number of pieces when I'm stacking. So for like bracelets, for example, I usually go with 3, and I like to make sure that they're all different materials, or at least like not too matchy-matchy again, because personally that's just not my style. So I already mentioned this, but today I'm wearing like a sort of like woven fabric bracelet. Then I have like a stone, or I think it's wood, polished wood beaded bracelet. And then I have a steel cuff. So you can see these are like 3 different materials. So odd numbers always look good if you are especially stacking one type of thing. So keep that in mind for all the different tiers that we're going through. I should also mention that you can wear bracelets on the watch side of your body, the wrist that your watch is on. You can also wear bracelets here. I personally like to have something that isn't competing necessarily in size with my watch. So if I were to have worn this woven bracelet, for example, on this side, I think that would have been pretty cool. Even this cuff, I think, would be fine on this side of my body, on this wrist. So it's really up to you. There's no right or wrong answer. You just kind of have to have a little bit of experience, because as you have more experience and you're wearing your stuff, you're going to think and realize like, okay, this looks good with this. This doesn't look so good, or this feels kind of weird wearing, so I don't want to wear it here. And you're going to start thinking and realizing these things the more you wear your jewelry. So just keep that in mind. If you want to wear 1 or 2 bracelets on this side with your watch, you can totally do that. And yes, you can wear both on both wrists. You can wear bracelets on both wrists if you want to. So that is level 5 tier A. Now the next tier up is tier B, which is stacking necklaces. Now when I say stacking necklaces, obviously what I mean is just wearing multiple chains at once. Here are some guidelines for that. I personally prefer necklaces that are similar in chain width, so nothing too like wide and then small, because that looks a little weird to me. So typically the ones I choose, if I'm wearing more than one, they're of a similar chain link width, but I do vary the lengths a lot. So I may have a shorter chain and then one that's slightly longer, so it's not competing and they're not like on the same level of your like neck when you're wearing it. I like to have a little bit of space in between. So this is one where I sort of break the guidelines or the rules a little bit. I usually wear, if I'm going to stack, I only wear 2 necklaces. I wear 1 or 2. I've never really done 3, I don't think. And I think, to me personally, I think that looks okay, even though it's not an odd number and I'm not following the rules, because again, these aren't really rules, these are more guidelines. So as a concrete example, most of my chains are around between 1 and 3 millimeters in thickness. And then I would wear like a shorter one that's around maybe 20 inches in length, which is shorter, maybe like right here, and then I'll have one that's like 22 inches, so it's a little bit longer. Sometimes I wear them with a pendant, and sometimes I wear it without. The shorter ones, I usually have no pendant, and then the longer ones will have a pendant. So that also stretches the necklace itself. As you can see, it adds a little bit of weight to the necklace, so that it kind of brings it down. Whereas the other necklace that's shorter and without a pendant will kind of sit a little bit higher up on my neck. You just want to think of this as layering. You're just kind of layering pieces on top of each other and seeing what looks good together and seeing what you can actually see and what you can't. Okay, so level 5 tier C. Now we're talking about stacking rings. So in this tier level, you're going to be wearing multiple rings, meaning rings on each and every finger, or like several fingers at once on both hands. 1 or both hands, and we're also talking about stacking multiple rings on 1 finger. Now, to be honest, I don't do this very often, if at all, I don't think, but I have seen it done really well, and I think it looks really cool. I just don't know if it's my style personally. Again, it's also context dependent. Like if I'm going into an office, like a really formal office, I'm not gonna wear like 10 rings, right? But if I'm going to the club, I don't know. If I'm going to a fancy bar or like a gallery event, opening event thing, then sure, I would probably wear more rings because I can, because it feels normal and natural in that environment. All this to say, all of these levels and all of these tiers within level 5 are all context dependent. So you want to make sure that you're, what you wear and how you wear it makes sense for the place that you're going and what you're doing. So back to rings, again, I'm going to tell you what I do personally, and then you can kind of scale up or scale down from there. How I usually do it is if I'm just going out on a regular day, I would wear my wedding ring on my left hand. And then I usually have some sort of pinky ring. This one is just like a stone, an azurite stone. I have a turquoise stone signet ring also for my pinky. And then sometimes I wear another signet ring on my index finger. But I also have a really cool signet ring. It's a little bit bigger, so I have to wear it on my middle finger. Wedding ring on this hand, pinky ring on this hand, and then either a middle finger ring or a index finger ring. Sometimes, and again, there's no rules here, this is just kind of dependent on how I'm feeling, I will also wear a pinky ring on this hand, and I will wear a ring finger on this hand. So I would have ring finger, ring finger, pinky ring, pinky finger. So I would have 4 rings. Or sometimes I have a pinky ring next to my wedding band, and then I'll have a pinky finger ring, yes, and then I'll have another ring on my middle finger. So I tend to wear about 3 to 4 rings at a time. Again, when I started out 8, 9 years ago, however long it's been, I didn't wear all this stuff at once because I think at that point that would have felt more like a costume. It would have felt not like me. But as I've gotten older and I've gotten more used to my style, what I like, and how I feel when I'm wearing jewelry and the kinds of jewelry that I like to wear with my outfits, then I started becoming more experimental with the amount I wear and how I wear it. And by no means is my style or amount of jewelry I wear crazy at all. At least I don't think so, because when I go out there and I see online or just people in general in New York City, people wear a lot of jewelry, and I think it looks really cool. I haven't gotten to that level, and maybe I never will. But I just don't think that I'm like the craziest when it comes to wearing lots of jewelry. I think 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 rings isn't that crazy. But again, it took me a while to build up to this level. This is why this is tier C of level 5 in this whole jewelry wearing journey. So all this to say, if you are here and you are at, let's say, level 4, which I believe is the adding a second ring, and maybe that's just where you want to stop. You never want to stack. You never want to wear more than your wedding band and 1 ring. Hey, that's totally fine. I was sitting there for years, and that's okay. You can kind of do whatever you want. Whatever makes you feel good, whatever makes you happy, wear what you like. Okay, tier D. Level 5, tier D, stacking your watches. Now, I'm just including this because I actually saw this the other day on, I believe it was Instagram, where I saw a clip of someone wearing their main watch, and then they wore a secondary watch as like a jewelry piece, and with bracelets and everything. Now, I thought that was kind of wild. I'm going to include that video here if I can, just to kind of show you, or like a screenshot. Like basically, if you saw this guy and he's like, oh yeah, I'm wearing 2 watches, you wouldn't be like, oh, that's insane. You'd be like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense for you. So stacking watches might not be your thing. Totally fine. I just wanted to mention it here. It's not really my thing. I think it looks cool on certain people, and some people who have really great, awesome personal style know how to pull that off. But if that's not you, hey, it's not me either. It's all good. And then tier E of level 5 obviously is toe rings. If you're going to wear toe rings and you want to stack them, you definitely want to have at minimum 3 toes with rings on them on both feet. Ideally, you're going to have a toe ring on each and every toe on both feet. That way you've achieved maximum jewelry status, coolness, wearing. So essentially those are the different levels of your jewelry wearing journey, right? Starting at level 1 all the way up to level 5. And then level 5, you're going to have different tiers of complexity. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully seeing that breakdown helps, and you can kind of decide for yourself how far you want to take it or how subtle you want to keep it. Quickly, I want to answer some FAQs that I think guys have that maybe they're not saying out loud. They're sort of saying in between the lines. Number 1, will I look weird? I have addressed this at several points in this video. You will not look weird, but wearing jewelry for the first time, you might feel weird. And that's okay. That's exactly why I wanted to lay this out level by level and tier by tier, so you can kind of know where you want to stop and like sit for a little bit and see how you feel, get more comfortable. And that's a really easy way to do it, is to follow this level by level. So yes, you're gonna feel weird for a week, a month, but if you do it consistently, then you will eventually feel normal about it. It'll feel regular. It'll feel like a part of you. It'll feel like wearing a shirt or some shorts. It's just gonna feel normal. But the key there is consistency and wearing it all the time. One tip I have for you is to wear your stuff in the house. That goes for anything new that you might be trying, whether it's a new shirt, a new jacket, a new silhouette, a new style that you aren't used to yet. wear it around your house, man. Like that's the easiest way to get used to something that you aren't already used to. Because when you're in the comfort of your own home, you can walk around, you can sit down, you can see what it looks like in the mirror, and you're going to get used to seeing it and feeling it on your body. And so when you're outside in the real world, it won't feel as weird because your body is already used to it. Your eyes are already used to seeing it in the mirror. That's the way to go. So apply this technique when you are starting to wear jewelry and you're going to have the same exact results. Isn't jewelry kind of feminine? Will it make me look gay or metrosexual? Okay, first of all, we have to stop using gay as a derogatory descriptive word. That's not a thing. This isn't 1992. We're not using that word anymore. And metrosexual, like who even says that? I see that being used online. That's a term from like 2004 and it doesn't apply. It just doesn't make sense. Stop using that. You sound dated when you use those terms. If you're worried about jewelry making you look metro or gay or feminine, you have to remember that kings, warriors, noblemen stacked rings and jewelry centuries before you were even alive. In most of those cultures, jewelry was a symbol of power, of strength, of status, of wealth. Those dudes were definitely not thinking, oh man, I wonder if I look feminine wearing these 10 gold rings. Hell no. They were like, fucking wearing this shit, bro. Jewelry isn't exclusively masculine or feminine. Jewelry is jewelry. It's another thing that you wear just like clothing. A big part of looking good and pulling off things that you wouldn't normally wear or aren't too sure of is confidence. You have to build up that confidence muscle. And the way to do that really is to start wearing this stuff at home. In the comfort of your own home, you'll get used to it, you'll build up that confidence. And then when you walk outside, it's just gonna feel normal. I'm just wearing the shit that I wear every single day at home. What's the difference? What's the big deal? Can I wear jewelry to work? So I mentioned this before, but it's going to depend on what you do and where you work and what the sort of expected dress code is in the place in which you work. If you are at some like really big, important consulting firm or law firm where everyone wears suits, everyone's buttoned up, everyone's very conservative, might look a little weird if you're wearing 5 rings, right? If you are at a creative agency and you are a graphic designer and you're slinging PDFs and PSDs and animating things, it probably doesn't look too crazy to be wearing 3 necklaces and 4 rings. So if you're unsure, keep it simple, figure out what is accepted in your place of business and go from there. So as a practical example, if it were me and I were working at an office where it sort of feels conservative, I'm not sure if I can really wear a lot of stuff or like express my style or creativity too much until I figure it out for sure. I think the farthest I would go is watch, wedding band, and like a necklace underneath my shirt. I would start there and then just sort of feel it out and see what is okay to wear at a place like that and what is not. What if I feel silly or stupid or not like myself? Well, I did mention this before, but you're gonna feel silly because it's new. Like that's how it is. That's how it always is when you're trying new things. It's normal to feel that way, and if you stick with it, it's eventually going to feel like a part of you very, very soon. But again, the key is just to wear it and be consistent and do it in the comfort of your own home first, and you will easily get used to things and get used to how things feel. And then the next step would obviously be to leave your house with that stuff on, and it'll be much, much easier. What you have to realize too is like, everyone is in their own world, right? This is advice for anything when it comes to wearing anything new, whether it's clothing, accessories, a new bag, or jewelry. It doesn't matter what it is. Everyone is stuck in their own world. Everyone is thinking about themselves. Everyone is very self-conscious. So no one is really looking at the new ring you're wearing. Like, no one really cares. They may make a comment like, oh, that's a cool ring. Oh, I've never seen you wear rings before. That's cool.
Your suit is nice.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I wear suits now.
Nice. You're wearing a suit?
Yeah, I wear suits now.
Ah, understood.
They noticed it and they gave you a compliment. Awesome. What you're really worried about is, am I going to be made fun of? Will I feel awkward? Am I going to be like the laughing stock of my friend group if I'm wearing jewelry? That's what you're really curious about. In my experience, whenever you're trying something new, if your friends are good friends, they might jab you a little bit. They might fuck with you. They might be like, hi, what the fuck is that? Like, and you know, if they're good friends, they're just wholeheartedly and genuinely joking and they're just teasing you, right? And it's all love. If they're asshole friends and they're probably not really your friends, then they might say some shit and put you down and make you feel less than. But that's more a reflection of them versus you. I think you should do whatever you want when it comes to anything in life. We have one life, man. Do whatever the fuck you want. Wear that ring. Start that business. Wear that shirt. Talk to that girl. Remember that most people are in their own bubble. and they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. And if they're being rude to you or putting you down because of something that you're trying and you're experimenting with, that says much more about them than it does about you. Okay, so to finally recap all of this, if you are starting your jewelry wearing journey and you want to know where to start, what do you do? Here's a quick recap refresher. Number one, wedding band if you're married, obviously, and then a watch. If you're not used to wearing a watch, start here. This is the easiest place to get used to wearing jewelry. Next, I would suggest trying a chain. Nothing too bold or crazy, something relatively small and inconspicuous. You can wear it under your t-shirt if you want, and make sure that it matches the metal that you'll be wearing most often. You don't have to match, again, but it's kind of the easiest way to pull things off and you're gonna feel most comfortable. After your chain, try a bracelet. After you get used to that, try a second ring. After you're used to all of those things, try stacking, try multiple rings, try multiple bracelets. If you want, try multiple watches. If you're there, man, you might be making a video and showing me how to do it. Shit. Don't try to match your sets, for example. Don't try to match your necklace and your bracelet. You want them to be more complementary than matchy-matchy. Just like a tie and a pocket square, you don't want them to match exactly. You don't want your necklaces and your bracelets to match exactly. If you start small and you wear it consistently, eventually the jewelry that you're wearing is going to feel like an extension of your style versus like a statement or something that stands out. It'll just feel like a part of you. Overall, it's not that deep. Just have fun with it. Wear whatever you like, whatever you find interesting. Wear something that has some meaning and symbolism to you. Keep it as subtle as you want or go as far out as you want. It's really up to you. Do me a favor though. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to watch this one. I think you'll like it.